Good morning. Hello, everybody. E here. Hello, Viking. Hello, Jordan. As you guys can see by the title of the video, ain't shit getting written today. I am exhausted. I'm stressed out. I can't concentrate. Hello, Ty. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this story offline any chance I get, and I will have it done by Sunday. If nothing else, the rough draft will be done Sunday. Yesterday, power went out. Apologize for not being here. We waited till about 10:30. I saw on the Dasher app, that it was busy, so we decided to go out. Hello, Tane. And then we dashed from then all the way up until I had to stop at 6 to take Dan to work, and then we kept going until 9 o'clock that night. So we were out for 11 hours yesterday. Got home, had a edible, and went to sleep. Woke up because I didn't get to sleep till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Woke up this morning still a little fuzzy. But yesterday, the day before, we'd gone grocery shopping. And then the power went out the next morning. Of course. Now, we live out in a rural area. Power goes out all the time for whatever reason, whether it's cold, windy, rainy, storming, thunderstorms, anything. Any big change in the weather, the grid fails for whatever reason. We don't even have an electric company, really. We have a co-op, which is basically funded by all of the people who live in this area, because we live in such a rural area. Anyways, so I was stressed out about that because we're already tight on money, and the groceries we had just got, but luckily it came on while we were out dashing. Nothing spoiled, so we're fine. But on top of that, we keep running into the same issue where we make a considerable amount of money on DoorDash, but then the gas hits or a new bill or something else happens, so we keep having to add days. We added yesterday. Today we have to go out. Dan has to be at work at 1. We're going to run from 1 o'clock until they get off at 7. And then I'm coming home and I'm going to sleep. And then tomorrow, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Saturday? Saturday we'll be gone all day. Hopefully, if we got to make $400 this week to make ends meet. We've already made 127, which is what we made yesterday. But literally the only thing on my mind, and I cannot get it out of my mind, is bills, money. And I know a lot of you guys out there are struggling with the same thing. It's like the more money you make, the more money that goes out. And that's the crux of the whole situation. More food money because we're out. We're having to go to restaurants instead of eating at home. And on top of that, the gas money. So it's just, you make $500 and $150 of it goes to gas for that week. And then another maybe $60 to $80 goes to food. Anyways, so that's literally all I'm thinking about. But also I wanted to go live to tell people who are struggling with writing every day, it is okay not to be okay. It is okay not to have daily writing. It is okay. And while I'm trying to rebuild this routine, and all of this could be coming off as excuses, it is okay not to work. At least one day. I know we all have responsibilities and things that need to get done, but it is okay to take some time for yourself. And I'm saying that as I know I have to go out this afternoon and work again. But I also have to focus. This is a third order of business. I also have to focus on my family, making sure my family's okay. It's not just me. There's 3 other people. There's a total of 4 of us in this household, and we have to make sure that everyone is okay. Dan's job's going fantastically, but I am not the kind of parent that my parents were, or maybe your parents were, that made their kids pay rent or made whatever. I want Dan to be able to save up the money that they make so that they can go out into the world prepared. If they decide to go out into the world, they're always welcome at home. It doesn't matter. But and that goes for both of my kids. So I am not. Everybody's like, if Dan's working, why are you struggling so much? Not everybody, but a couple people have mentioned it. And it's because I'm not that parent. the bills of this house, not Dan's responsibility. They are mine and Shell's. So that's what we're doing. We're taking care of that, and we're making sure that they're financially stable. So if they do decide to go and do something else and move out and whatever, that they have that base that they need to do the right thing. I just ordered a burger for dinner. I wish he would deliver it. That would be a long dash. That'd be probably about a $12,000 dash. But I'd be happy to accomplish that for you, Jordan. Anyways, so I wasn't even going to go live today. I was going to shoot a video, but I turned on the camera, set up OBS and all that to record, and I just kept stumbling all over my words, and I was like, I don't have time to edit this. I'm just going to go live. But anyways, so it is okay to take a day off. And main reason I'm saying it is okay is I got a comment yesterday from someone that I don't know. There was a person who was upset because they signed up for a membership on the channel. Memberships have always been for people who just want to support the channel. There's nothing paywalled. There's no content over there that, is going to make the membership worth it. It is just for the people who want to support me because they asked for me to turn on memberships. Same with the Patreon. Patreon people, it was the fans who wanted the Patreon, so on and so forth. But they got upset and harassed me on Instagram. The only place they haven't really got me is TikTok. And I think this is just another one of their accounts. But I got a comment yesterday that said something to the effect of, I tried to tell y'all that he was going to flake and he wasn't going to finish the series because he never does. First thing I got to say about that is I'm not dependable. Do not depend on me. If you're a fan of this channel, I'm not dependable. I disappear for months at a time. Sometimes there's videos every day for a couple months, and sometimes there's nothing for several months. Do not depend on me. Do not depend on this content, because what comes first for me 100% of the time, every single time, is going to be my family. So, but I am pushing forward. I'm going to finish this story. We're going to keep on going. It may not be live, but I'm going to keep on going, keep on pushing. And then on Sunday, I will try and go live early in the day and, read the story to you guys. The editing will have to wait until next week. That's just it. Luckily, next week's story, I'm swapping out one story that was going to be much longer about the family stuck in the loop after the barbecue restaurant that I talked about in the last one. I'm going to be skipping that, and I'm going to be jumping to a shorter story that I can go ahead and knock out. But that will end up being the third story in the collection. It'll be confusing, but we'll make it work. Thank you, Ty, for the hugs. Was worried yesterday that something happened. Yeah, it did, but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't disastrous. Thank fuck. Glad to be wrong. I instead finished listening to Life After Dane. Dude, why did you do that to me? I liked her and Sven. It is what it is. I don't know what else to say. But that ending, boy. Whoo! That ending, something else. And that ending just happened, man. Richie, that's 100% honest. I don't have, I'm not in contact with the two people who were with me while, not really with me, but were reading it daily. I had a friend, Angel, and a friend, Jill. No longer in contact with either one of them. But they were reading along. Every day I wrote the book in 9 days, and it just kind of fell out of me. The only thing that was added was the part where Dane is hiding food. My editor wanted me to add that because she had that experience. So then I had to write another chapter in modern time to balance that one. So there were 2 chapters in there that were added later, but nothing was cut. Nothing was changed. The ending was just like that. And everything just fell right into place. It's one of those books that I have been trying my entire career to do better than. And the closest I've ever come from my own personal, taste is The Sound of Broken Ribs. And it's still number 2. It's still under Life After Dane. Write everyday advice. Yeah, I've always hated that write everyday advice. Sounds like or else what? I'm currently trying to write every day. I can, but if I can't one day, so be it. Right. This whole thing really has nothing to do with the viewership or keeping the channel alive. It has to do with me getting back on the horse. And the accountability of coming out here and working every day needs to happen. But at the same time, you do not, build good routines by starting with burnout. You guys can write that one down if you want to. Good routines do not start with burnout. They never do. So I'm going to ease myself back into this. I'm going to write whenever I get a chance. Forcing myself only to write on stream is limiting. And I don't want to limit these stories. I want each and every one of these stories to be good. I don't want any filler stories, any bullshit stories. I want them to all have meaning and purpose. So I will take care of finishing this story. I don't know if it'll be good, but I will finish it. And then best cure for burnout is fog. Not today. I have the heater on, and I know the power out here can't handle both of them. You said your editor felt you had to add a section about eating food. Seems weird if you weren't asking for that kind of input. No, okay. It's not. It's about hiding food. There was a story. I don't want to name her because I'm not in good terms with her either. But when I was working on the book, I was looking for. I really just delved deep into my own childhood experiences. So while my dad wasn't physically abusive, he was emotionally abusive. And he pretty much had the same sayings and lines that, Dane's father had, that Phil had. And when I got to a certain section and the editor said, something's missing here. We have not tackled certain things that I think would make the book better. I was like, what are you talking about? It's like a situation that happened to her when she was a child. She told me the story, and I said, you know what, that'd be perfect. Do you mind if I fictionalize it and use it for this? So she brought that up. She brought up that it covered the theme she was looking for and that it worked. And it did work in the story. Editors sometimes have great fucking ideas, and she had a great idea. She had a lot of bad ideas too, but that's where your own discretion has to come into play. Your own, analytical, critical thinking skills is like, how does it serve the story? Does it make the story better, or does it feel like filler, so on and so forth? And that section really felt like it should have been there the entire time. It just fit the whole thing. Looking back, I never hid food, but I did have certain things that I was not allowed that I would eat outside of the house. Like I wasn't allowed milk at all whatsoever, because my mother was lactose intolerant. My dad didn't like it. And so when I was at school, I would they had a free milk table where anyone who didn't want their milk or didn't like milk, they could put it on this table. Looking back on it, probably a health code violation, but I don't know, because there was nothing keeping it cold. And I would take that milk. And in fact, I held a record for how many cartons of milk I drank when I was a little fat kid. So 14 was the record at my school, and that was mine. Anyways, a little funny side story, but I thought that the scene fit perfectly. And just like Jimmy was bringing up certain things in the last stream that I was like, that's a good idea. So you never know where inspiration and ideas are going to come from. And just give those people credit. When they come up with a fantastic idea, give those people credit. And while I'm not on good terms with that editor, in fact, I got a pretty insulting check from that company. I haven't been with that publisher since 2016. Was the last time I ever spoke with them. And I got a check for 75 cents recently. 75 cents. And I know they have to pay every single penny that I've made. I understand that, but that 75-cent check was like the final slap in the face with everything else I had gone through with that publisher. Anyways, but do not take that as I was forced into writing that section. I enjoyed writing that section, and I think it made the book better. What's the next one of yours that I should audible? Crawl. If you have not listened to Crawl is a fantastic production. I'm talking movie quality production. Eventually, I'll finish the Talisman, but I need a change from it. King pushed my patience with that. Yeah, I did. I hated the Talisman. I got you. That makes more sense. Was just curious if you felt she was overreaching. If I thought, I'm one of those people. I won't say writers. I'm one of those people that if I have an issue with someone, I'm going to take that issue directly to them. As soon as I have the issue, I'm not going to go behind my back and talk to other people and go, what should I do about this? So on and so forth. The only time I do that is when the issue doesn't involve me. It's like, should I say something? Should I do something? I'll ask my friends, that kind of thing. But if I have a problem with someone, I'm going straight to them. I've done it several times on Discord. Sometimes it ends really, really well. My good friend Lazy Homebody, that you guys have seen in chat, I've had to confront her about something. There's several different people that I've had to talk to. A couple of them I had to block because they were just so stuck in their hate that they couldn't let it go. But yeah, if I have an issue with you, I'll bring it to you directly, unless you're not worth my time. And all my friends are worth my time. So if I have an issue, I'll bring it directly. And my editor at the time was a good friend of mine. And whenever she did overreach, I brought it to her. I'm like, I don't think this will work at all. Because at the end of the day, it's my story. I'm going to tell it however I want to. And as long as it's grammatically correct, punctuation, structure, all that stuff, then there's no reason why I can't tell whatever story I want to tell. But I have gotten more good advice from editors than I have bad advice. And another thing I want to touch on that nobody ever talks about is, okay, let me say something. All right, when authors tell a reviewer, what do you know about writing books? What do you know? Rada, rada, rada. You know, you're going to leave me a negative review. How many books have you written? None of that shit makes any, none of that shit matters. None of it matters. I would listen more to the person who is not a writer than I would listen to seasoned writers. And yes, this is coming from someone who likes to give advice on the internet. I would listen to people who read, and that is their only gig, is to read. I would listen to them before I listen to a writer, because a writer is going to want to rewrite your story and change your story to fit what they think that story should be. But when you get reviews, when you get in-depth reviews that go, hey, okay, this didn't make any sense. Perfect example. Riley Sager, the author of Final Girls and a bunch of other books. There is a scene in his book, in Final Girls, where one of the characters has beat up a homeless man. Their hands are busted all to shit, okay? Because they literally got in a fist-to-fist fight with a homeless man. The detective that comes to talk to this character about the beating never checks the character's hands. Never. I brought this up in a review, and funnily enough, because I use so many different names, the author did not know that I was a writer as well, and made some comments like, but what have you done? But my point is, nothing changes the fact that that part of that story should have been fixed. Should have been, any number of things could have happened. She could have been wearing gloves. Anything could have happened. She could have had her hands tucked in her pockets the entire time, like I do right now in my hoodie. That kind of thing. Any number of things could have happened. And it's readers that find that kind of thing. Writers, most of the times, like, let the story be the story. Or if they do want you to change it, they want you to change it to what they think the story should be. So I would listen to a reader that only reads, does not do any writing whatsoever. Just like I listen to Jimmy, and Jimmy swears up and down he's not a writer, even though he has fantastic storytelling abilities. I would listen to Jimmy before I would listen to Chad. And that's kind of bold to say, but that's the honest truth. Another reason is me and Chad are two completely different authors. Trying to come together to write one book was a very interesting experience, because I wanted certain things, he wanted certain things, and we had to try to meet in the middle. So, constructive criticism is okay for a review, to be fair, as long as you're not just shitting on it. Yeah. But also, I would say that reviews that are entirely negative are okay. Also, if you didn't like anything about the book, tell me you didn't like anything about the book. If you want to point those things out, that's fine. No piece of creative media is going to be for everybody. I'm glad I was a reader first. I've heard of writers that don't read, and I will defend those writers for one reason, what I just said. I'm going to bring that back up. It's their story. It's, they don't want any, like, there's an author who falls off the map, comes back like every 2 or 3 months, kind of like someone else, um, and I don't want to call her out, but she does not read when she's writing. She reads when she's not writing because she does not want any outside influence. Now, imagine a writer like me who writes as much as I do, or did. I haven't been writing much at all lately. But imagine a writer like me, who spends, a good chunk of their time writing, and then has to do other things, doesn't have time to read. So imagine if I were to, hang on, how do I want to put this? I have a point and I want to get there clearly. Let's see here. I can't think of a good. Basically, what I'm getting at is the authors that do that normally do it because they don't want the outside influence. And for someone who has like a full-time job and everything, you also have to find the line between, work and research, work and entertainment, that kind of thing. So I understand the authors who say that, but the ones who like never read anything, I've never read a good book by an author who doesn't read something at some point in time. There are certain fiction authors that only read nonfiction. There are certain nonfiction writers who only read fiction. So while you can learn from the process, sometimes the process can be stunting. Sometimes the process will be helpful. It all depends on the individual. That's the only defense I have for those people. Yeah, it definitely worked, Tim. Tim says, yeah, speak on that experiment with Chad. Final thoughts, did it work? It worked. Is the book what I expected it to be? No. Is that a bad thing? No. It is. I will say the only piece of criticism I have for our book is that I was looking forward to more stuff in the middle about the carnival, and we just kind of blew right through that. There wasn't enough that I felt was there that, and we'll tackle this all at, another time, but what I signed up for isn't in the book. It's still a good book. It's still a great story, but it's not what I signed up for. I signed up for the carnival aspect, the little slice of life here, there, that kind of thing. But the main focus became the cocaine, and the character Shane's obsession with it, and how that turned everything. And it should be. It's a plot driven story, with character development, depth, and all that stuff. But I wanted more stuff in the carnival setting. And we got a lot of stuff in the carnival setting, but I wanted more slice of life stuff, kind of bouncing around without meaning kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's such a short book. It probably would have suffered had I got, what I wanted. So there's that. Fly on the wall. Yeah, I figured you were here, Chad. Let's see here. I've heard of writers, though, the ones I meant never read at all. They think is dumb. I've heard some say seriously. That's not a good look. If you're out there, telling people not to read and you're a writer, what the fuck are you doing? It's like opening up a restaurant and then telling everybody that, that you don't like food. That confuses me. That really does. You figured I was here? Yeah. Like I've got nothing. No, that's not what I was saying. There are 18 people here. There's a certain subsection of my crew, my, people who watch me. And if a certain number of people are here, I can pretty much guarantee that those people are here. But yeah, anyways, I kind of figured you were here. Let's see here. That probably goes for most art form. Oh yeah, any creative medium. Imagine directing a movie without ever watching one. That would be an interesting thing. Like, I would like to read a book written by someone who has never read a book. That would be a great experiment. I would like to see what that person would come up with without anything to go off of. I would love to read that. The closest I've ever gotten is I had a friend one point in time who was not a reader. wanted to tell her story, started writing, and it was the most god-awful thing that I had ever read, period. No punctuation whatsoever, because I fucked up and I told her, so you got to watch the advice that you give certain people. I told her, just sit down and start writing. It doesn't matter. Just sit down and start writing. Not knowing that she didn't even have a basic grasp of punctuation. Didn't know what to use, when to use a period, when to use a question mark, when to use the exclamation point, any of that stuff. It was literally 12 pages of run-on just rambling. And I was like, this is why I say there's a difference between a storyteller and a writer. A writer is a mechanics. They're down for the structure. They can learn, they can adapt, they can do all that stuff. A storyteller is just good at coming up with ideas. That's it. You gotta watch out for Chad. My boy talking a little shit. No, I know you're kidding, but it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, sometimes a project is not going to go the way you want it to, and it can still be a damn good project. And that's how I feel about Planet Caravan right now. Of course, I have not read the ending. I still have not read the ending, but I emailed Chad. This is another reason why I figured you'd show up at some point. I emailed Chad last night, and I was like, I'm giving myself the second week of March off to work on this book. Whether or not we live stream it, I don't know, probably, because I want to keep that. I want to give people what they signed up for. So we'll do that. Hopefully, he hasn't emailed me back yet, but I see how it is. You're going to come into my stream, but you ain't going to email a fool back. Yeah, I got messages from all different kinds of people. Ain't got nothing from Chad. I talk shit all I want. Okay, I'm back around. I'm in the middle of shipping stuff. Apparently, I'm a smut peddler. I sold a gay porno VHS last night. Who watches VHS anymore? A lot of people. It's just like I was talking to Shell about the local porn store. And then there's several in Montgomery, but there's only one here in Prattville. And it's kind of on the outskirts, like right before you get to Montgomery. I think it's in that it's in that space, like almost unincorporated, and I think that's why they were allowed to open it. But anyways, long story short, they're always busy, always. And I know sex toys are never going to go out of style, but they are always busy. There's always cars in that parking lot, and the building is by itself in a big open area. It's not like people are parking there and then going over to McDonald's, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm just like, who out here buying porn when there's YouPorn, Pornhub, all these other, I probably just got demonetized, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Who is out here buying this stuff? I mean, I understand OnlyFans, like being able to ask for, pay is like, okay, hey, let me give you $50 and you do this deed or whatever. I completely get that. But why buy this stuff? Are there that many people out there consuming porn going, I feel bad about this because I'm not paying for it? Honestly, is there that many? Too busy thinking about cocaine to be emailing people? Fuck off. At the end of the day, people know what they like. A reader will know what will make the story better. That's your audience. Write for them. Screw writing for the writers. I will go one more, and I'm going to disagree with you to a certain extent, and I'm going to explain why. Write for yourself. Make yourself happy. Period. That's all this is for. Because the worst writing I have ever done is writing on spec. Is writing something that someone gave me to write. That someone told me to write, asked me to write. I really, really despise a certain short story that I published because I forced it, because someone asked me to. And I'm not going to mention it because every time I mention the stuff of mine that I don't like, it never fails for someone else to pop in and go like, that's my favorite story of yours. And I don't want to shit on my fans. So I love the advice you said about trusting readers more than writers, though. I've heard writers say advice that makes the reader and me go, what? Yeah. That's the thing. You have people who are writers who write for other writers, and you see a lot more of that in like you see a lot more of that in the literary side of things. You also see quite a bit of it in a community setting, where people will get together and just share bad advice and then go do that bad advice. And then you catch them on social media going, why am I having so many problems? Probably because your little writing group on Facebook is just sharing the same bad advice that they've been sharing this whole time. As one thing that I had to hunt down, someone gave me a quote that went against everything. Why telling is better than showing sometimes. And sometimes it is, but the argument in the article was completely batshit insane. It didn't make any sense. Like, people don't want to read about character development. Just tell them why this person's in this predicament and go on about your business. It's pretty much the thing. And not showing the emotional involvement that comes with why that scene is important, or so on and so forth. And come to find out that the quote that they were sharing from this article was from an author who had written one book with a 1.2 star average on Amazon. And all of the comments say the same thing. This book was written by someone who does not have a grasp of even the simplest grasp of the English language. So just be careful where you get your advice from. Even from me, don't take anything I say as absolute 100% fact. I can tell you what works for me, but I'm also aware that I am rare in this business. The way I work, how I do what I do, the many different names and diverse products that I have out in the world. I'm a rarity. So never base your entire writing regimen or whatever on shit that I tell you or anyone else. It takes all of the creativity out of it. It takes all the self out of it. I have a phrase that I use over and over again. It's been so long, I don't know if I came up with it or if I heard someone else say it, but mimicry is the failure of self. If you are trying to be something else, if you are trying to mimic something else, you're not being your true self. Is pretty much what it comes down to. So make yourself happy first. It's like you can't really love another person unless you love yourself. It's the kind of thing there, but also sometimes it takes another person's love for you to love yourself. But it all comes down to the individual is what I'm getting at. What works for me is not going to work for everybody. What works for you is probably not going to work for me because I'm old and set in my ways. But it is important to make sure that you research the person who's giving the advice. Go and check how many, go and check their reviews, check the positive, check the negative, check all that stuff. It's important to do those things before you take someone's advice. And just do your own research. That's it. Happy New Year, Dustin. How you doing? They buy theirs so they have something to watch on the laptop when the power and internet goes out. Hang on. They buy theirs so they have something to watch on the laptop when the power and internet goes. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Richie. I'd blow through topics, constantly. So different people work differently, and that is beautiful. Yeah. The world would be a very, very boring place if we all did the same thing and we all liked the same thing and all that stuff. I run on weed music and chaos in writing. I can't write when I'm high. My everything. Here's another thing. I want to talk about something real here. 34 minutes deep into this. I write better when I'm not in a good mood, when things are not going well. And I realized that last night. I realized that my best books were written during a time of conflict. And my worst books, my worst stories, the ones that I consider the worst, were written during a time of happiness. And that bothers me. It does, but it's something that I need to come to terms with. Is I write much better when I am in trouble, when I am in crisis, and I am better at life when there's a crisis too. And so much so that I was, drama king, on Twitter and Goodreads and all that stuff, because, it gave me that, I don't know. It gave me that if I was in trouble, I had something to fight. You know what I mean? And when I don't have anything to fight, I am not a good creative person. Porn store. Gotcha. When the power and internet goes out. Hey, it's fair. But they still sell VHS in those stores. That's what I was getting at. I didn't even say that, but they still sell VHS tapes in those stores. I don't need to be high, but it doesn't stop me unless it makes me fall asleep. You deserve to be happy and rest too. Yeah, the rest part is killing me. Because I literally went from having every hour of the day free to I kind of stair stepped into it, because it went from being on disability, or actually before that it went from me writing and making plenty of money with my writing, graphic design, all that stuff. It went from that all dried up, and went from that to having to take Dan back and forth to work, which it's an hour round trip, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. So 2 hours a day out of my life was gone. And then it went from that to them cutting off my disability. I didn't have any income from the books, the stories, movies, any of that stuff. So that got cut off. And then my disability got cut off, which was what I was using to survive in between. And now I am dashing. So literally every free moment is gone from having all the time in the world to having no time, to where I have to schedule a week, 2 months in advance to work on something that's already done. Yeah. I know, Chad, but I want to be able to enjoy my work, and using my work only as an escapist tactic. It pains me that I can't do this when I'm happy, or I can't write anything worth a fuck when I'm happy. So unfortunately, life doesn't want to let you rest. Right? Exactly. Yeah, that's nailed it. Man, it's already been this week has been a whole month, and we're barely on the 4th. Let me put this up here. The story I'm writing, my initial plan was a short horror story. What am I writing? Fantasy story? Trauma from me infecting it. Possible novel, at least novella. I didn't ask to write trauma. Yeah, I know. It's like so much of me is coming out in Linda that it's a little too close to home. I'm enjoying the story. It's going to be good. It's going to have a positive outcome at the end. But yeah, it's a matter of getting through, being okay with sharing myself. But it's really it's really easy. Don't get me wrong. It's really easy to put yourself in fiction, just your own, and that's why they write what that kind of thing. So putting your own, it makes sense that when conflict is interesting, conflict is entertainment. A lot, there's a vast majority of the media that we consume is about conflict. That's why I say every story is a horror story at some point, because there's got to be loss, there's got to be conflict, there's got to be dread, there's got to be that feeling that you don't want anything bad to happen to these people, and then something bad has to happen because that's entertaining. Hang on. Happy people don't kill people. They just don't. Your business is writing involves killing people from time to time. You can't do the work you do when you're happy because of that. I can't argue that. I can't. I don't have any response to that. Try different genre writing when happy and see if that works. I did. Me and Darren Kapoff wrote 2 books together, and that was me writing when I was happy. And while I'm proud of those books, there was a lot of rewriting needed on my end. Darren was fine, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I needed to change and add more drama, tension, whatever. I think horror is exceedingly hard to write if you are a happy person. I at least in my opinion, that's true. And I think that's why Stephen King has gone so far away from horror with his most recent stuff, is because he's so happy and content being an old dude just fucking off. And I'm happy for him. I may not like the new stuff, but I'm happy for him. You don't want to kill him. This guy, you're talking to someone who has at least 40 novels out there that all have unhappy endings. So I am all about affecting the reader. I am all about manipulating emotions. That's why I find it funny when I see negative reviews of books saying that I don't like how emotionally manipulative this book is. That's what fiction is supposed to be. Emotionally manipulative. We need to be able to lie to you, to gaslight you into believing that these people are real so that you care for them, so that we can break your fucking heart and maybe mend it by the end. Writing, just the creative process in general, is all emotional manipulation. That's just it. Have you considered songwriting as a side thing? I know you play guitar a bit. That time of my life has long since passed. I've written maybe 5 songs in the past decade, and I just keep replaying them over and over again. As far as songwriting as an option for income, no, it's just not going to happen. I mean, nowadays you even hear Beyonce and Taylor Swift complaining about Spotify. Music is so undervalued right now. Really, the only way to make money is live shows. So, hey, Bookable. But I'm going to have to, most likely, but also I'm a pantser, so fuck if I know 100%. I love those books. The more emotionally manipulative, the better. Exactly. I mean, what else are we doing if we are not trying to manipulate readers emotionally? What else are we doing? Because even making a reader have fun is emotional manipulation. You are manipulating them into having fun. Because these books are not fact. These books are supposed to be fun. Like Donna Tartt said, the first job of any novelist is to entertain. And even entertainment is emotional manipulation. And laughter is the best medicine kind of thing. It's making you feel a way that is different from how you felt before you went into the project, before you went into that media. If you come out the other side of that project, that whatever media it is, if you come out the other side unchanged, unthinking, and just move on, it's like, it was meh. It's not done its job. Do you hate it with a passion enough to give it 1 star? Awesome. Tell me about it. Did you love it? 5 stars? 22 stars? Wish you could give it 22 stars? Tell me about it. It's right there in the middle. The meh didn't do anything for me. That's where the bad writing is. That's where the bad stories are. Right there in the middle. Now, I'm not saying a 3-star review is worse than a 1 or a 5, whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you leave your reader or your viewer or whoever, if you leave them with a sense that they have not been emotionally manipulated, they are going to be mad at you. They are going to, and there is nothing worse as a creative person than hearing, it's all right. That, what? No, fuck that. No. That's another reason why negative reviews never bothered me, because I won. I manipulated you emotionally to the point where now I am the worst thing you have ever read. Fuck yeah, I win. I mean, every time someone asks you, what's the worst book you've ever read, you're going to point and say, Bay's End by EdwardLorn. The Sound of Broken Ribs by EdwardLorn, or Cruelty by Edward. Think about that every single time. And then the person they're talking to is going to get, like, how bad can it actually be? They go check the look inside. Hey, the writing isn't bad. Let me go ahead and buy this. Negative press sells books. It does. But I've been saying that. I'm just repeating shit over and over again. For my own artistic expression, no, not necessarily for money. Oh yeah, I'll sit down and tinker with stuff, but I don't have enough time now to do it. Unfortunately, I prefer sad songs, books too. Yeah, me too. And I really prefer sad stuff when I'm happy. If there's something wrong up here that prefers it when I'm in crisis, when I'm sad, that kind of thing. So it is a constant struggle to remove myself from the negativity. constantly. And I know you guys have the same issue, but it is a constant struggle to remove myself from the negativity and to not listen to the 1 out of 100. And what I mean by that is there always going to be one person out there that can't fucking stand you. You're going to live in their head rent free. I got one right now. At least one. There might be two. There might be more. I don't know. There's 11,000 people that follow this channel. But that's winning. When you get under someone's skin so much that they invest so much time to create multiple accounts to come back at you over and over and over again, you've won. You have beaten that person without any effort whatsoever, just by existing, just you existing, ruining that person's day. And that is amazing. It's like one of the emails I got when I did my my stream about I need your help. The guy was like, hey, if you come out and say, you know, Trump is God or whatever, I'll give you $500 right now. He also wanted to buy my first of carry for like $500, something like that. But it was a testament to the 1 out of the 100 rule that so many people came out to support me. And then there was this one person over here just raging at their screen to the point that they wanted to pay me to make them look right. And I laughed and deleted it. I know he's out there watching. But the stuff that comes in, yeah, I read it, but then I delete it because you are 1 out of 100. You're 1 out of 11,000, maybe. You are one person. And then I have 99 other people who are supporting, who care about me. It is a testament to kindness. It is a testament to human goodness that happened, that I did not even have to consider. I wouldn't have anyways, because I'm not your dancing monkey. But I wouldn't have even considered doing it for the money, just because I know my people got my back. And that's it. So I'm struggling with the book. I started literally only did a chapter and a half. Well, what are you reading, Bookable? Yeah, any publicity is good publicity kind of thing. Yeah, unless, of course, you know, you mess with kids or you're a murderer or whatever. But even those people, like, well, maybe not the kitty fuckers, but definitely the like serial killers and people who, you know what I'm talking about. They get fan mail. Think of Charles Manson. Think of Jeffrey Dahmer. All them. It's one of the things that I said when I did my spinking engagement in Hoover was there's going to be people out there that hate your stuff to a point where it becomes a passion of theirs to hate you. And those people are your biggest fans. Those people are the people who are so obsessed with you that they can't think of anything else. So every time they see you succeeding, or even they find pleasure when you fail, and when you succeed, it just drives them absolutely nuts. So, you know, watch me win. You can watch me win. And that's another reason why I'm sharing this whole struggle instead of just hiding, you know, in my house while all this shit goes down, is because, yes, bad times come. There's a season for everything. But it's like I have up on my wall, I've talked about it, just endure. Get through this and handle the next thing when it comes up. Yeah, I'm too lazy for that too, Jimmy. Jimmy said, imagine them having that much energy for hate to create multiple accounts. I'm too lazy for that. It's also, but going back to the 1 out of 100, all of us do this. You will be riding a high. You will be on a wave. You will be at your absolute best. And then someone will come in and bring negativity into the situation. And for some odd reason, we pay attention to that. We don't pay attention to the 99 other people who are cheering us on and, you know, doing everything in their power to make sure that, you know, you make it. We don't do that. We focus on that 1%. We focus on this little random rage machine and go and start questioning, are they right? Or that everybody must feel this way just because this one numbskull thinks this way. Just because this one goofball said something that's negative does not mean that's true. And that's the same thing I tell you with writing. If you're writing something and one editor says, hey, you should, or let's say you send it to beta readers. All beta readers come back and say, hey, this is an issue. That's when you start paying attention. But when you have multiple beta readers and each one of them has like one little off thing, It's like, okay, well, I like the whole book, but I didn't like this. If no one else mentions that, it's probably going to stay in the book. But if everybody mentions it, then I think about fixing it. It's like, is it a problem that I want the reader to have? You're reading The Dead Zone right now? Yeah, that one, I'll keep my opinions to myself. But it starts out fucking fantastic. One of my favorite openings. 99 problems, but a hater ain't one. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why they do what they do, Jordan. I mean, that's just it. I've been in that situation where, I had so much animosity and hate in me that, I had troll accounts, all that stuff. This is back when, I was on my mother's 333 megahertz Barbie computer. You remember those? They had like Hot Wheels and Barbie. Well, my sisters got together and bought my mom a Barbie computer. 333 megahertz. If you know what that means, your jaw's probably on the floor. But anyways, so I was 16 or 17, I believe. I could be wrong. I might have been 18. I know I wasn't old enough to buy cigarettes, so it had to be before that. But I was one of those edgelords on the internet going through Cheetah Chat, Yahoo Chat, all that stuff until I finally, matured and got all that waste out of my head. I go by Mr. Sick and Twisted to you, Sick and Twisted at you. I can't remember what all they were, but I had multiple accounts and I used to just, fuck with people. Am I proud of it? No, but I used to do it. So I understand the mentality, but it's how you grow from that. If you are still that person to this day, then yeah, fuck off. You're not worth, the piss to put out the fire that, you stepped into. Yeah, you grow out of stuff like that. It's like there's another guy, and I believe this one is a different person, but one of the things you'll see from children, like teenagers down, is cringe. It's like, this dude is so cringe, bitch. You don't even have hair on your nuts. What the fuck are you talking about? Go have some life experience and then come back and talk to a 43-year-old person. It's just that who gives a fuck if you think I'm cringe? What does it matter? It doesn't. If it's not for you, go away. If it is for you, hang around. We'll have a fantastic fucking time. But anyways, but I am sorry that there is no writing today. I do apologize, and we will get this done. And we will be back at it Monday, at least Monday and Tuesday next week. I'm not promising anything beyond Monday and Tuesday anymore. But these stories will get done. You guys will be able to see the beginnings. And if you're over on Patreon, you'll be able to get to read the endings as soon as they go up. So yeah, I know Ty is on Patreon. I got a couple other people. Oh, by the way, here at the end, these people are not going to see this, but I want to give a huge shout out to H. Michael Casper for following on Patreon for an entire year, paying up front for it. And there was another person. Give me a second. Oh, who was it? Hang on. This is going to bother me. I'm sorry. There's so much going on in my head. I want to give a shout out to these people. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Michael Fowler, and paid for an entire year also. So, yeah. No fog. No writing, no fog. What kind of channel is this? Ah! Yeah. If I don't like something I see on the internet, I just keep scrolling. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Code for I know. I've heard that a lot, Ty, and it doesn't matter to me. It's like if somebody wants to point at me and go, that dude's autistic, I got a touch of autism. What can I tell you? I mean, if I'm not for you, then go away. As simple as that. I never know what I'm going to do or say to get in trouble. I have no idea when it happens, and anytime it does happen, it's always. And here's a bit of advice. Everything negative is a flash in the pan, just like everything positive is a flash in the pan. It's not going to hang around. Something else is going to come and overshadow that thing. Move on. I know that's so much easier said than done, and I'm still struggling with it, but move the fuck on. Move on. Just if you can't stand the comments, don't read the comments section. If you can't stand the reviews, don't read your reviews. Do whatever you need to do so that you can stay productive and happy. You're not always going to be happy, but you want to put yourself into a position to where you are happy. Okay, so peep this. We all have negative thoughts. We all worry constantly. The thing is, the future is make-believe. Everything we think is going to happen in the future is not guaranteed to happen. I don't care if you think yourself a psychic or any of that stuff. If we are imagining the bad shit to come, why is it so hard to imagine the good shit to come? Why is that so difficult? So what I've been doing is every time I have a negative thought, I come up with a positive response to it. I come up with a positive balance. Let's say today, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to write. My head is scattered. I'm stressed out. So let's make a positive out of this and go live and talk to people about the struggles that you're going through, because there's bound to be somebody out there who feels the exact same way. So here I am. Anyways, so by the way, my TV light and everything still work. I don't know if you watched the stream yesterday, you guys know I knocked all this shit down. But yeah, I'm gonna try and write. I'm gonna try and finish Linda tonight or tomorrow, and then I will read positivity. Yeah. And I'm not talking about false, fake positivity. You don't need to fake being positive to anyone. Just like today, this isn't a very positive stream, but I'm trying to add some positivity to it by giving advice that you can take, you can throw to the wind, whatever. But I would definitely don't listen to me blindly. Don't, unless you're seeing impaired, and then I understand. Sorry, that was a bad joke. But it makes me feel good that you guys listen, but it also worries me that you guys are going to take this advice as the only way to do things. That's why I always back up. It works for me. It may not work for you. So I've written down saved quotes that I like, motivational stuff, and like, oh yeah, definitely. I had, like I said, just endure. My friend told me just endure, and I come out here every day to look at that sign. And it's one of those things I've said for a long time. It gets better is a lie. Sometimes it doesn't get better. But the purpose of that statement, it gets better, is to keep you here. And that is not a bad thing. It may not always get better, but every day you wake up is a chance that it can get better. Doesn't mean it's going to be. It might even get worse. Trust me, I've been going through that. Every day there's a new struggle to attack, to defend from. But every day that you wake up is a chance for something fucking magical to happen. That's the truth. There is nothing out there that can debunk that. There's nothing out there saying that no matter what, that tomorrow is going to be worse. Just like there's nothing guaranteeing that tomorrow is going to be better. We just have to endure. We have to endure. Because otherwise, what's this life about? If you're like me, an atheist, nihilist, all that stuff, what other reason are we here for than the reason that we are here, and that is to exist? Beyond that, everything that we do with the existence that we have been lucky to have is icing on the cake. And just because you're stuck at a dead-end job or whatever, wherever you think that you're stuck in life, there is someone either more stuck than you or someone who has given up. And the only true giving up is the end. Everything else is failure, and you can always come back from failure. Always. Anyways, I didn't mean to get my Tony Robbins on, but you have been given advice that you didn't ask for. I hope that you take it with a grain of salt, like I said before. It's just, don't search for meaning, make your meaning. There you go. Make your meaning meaningful. Whatever that might be. All right. Okay, we're an hour into this. I'm gonna go try and get some rest before I have to take Dan to work at 1, and then we have to DoorDash till 7 tonight, and then I'm gonna come home and have. I found these wonderful brownies. Let me type what they're called. All right, so these brownies are Delta 9 THC. They are dangerous. They're like an Long Island iced tea. You know how you can't taste the alcohol in that one, but it's all alcohol. Well, these brownies taste exactly like Duncan Hines fudge brownies. You can't taste the addition whatsoever. Fucking amazing stuff, man. It's a bar about this big, and I only have like a corner every time. So I'll pop off a corner, pop off another corner, that kind of thing. I'm gonna get some rest. Yeah. To quote Bill Hicks, life is just a ride. Yeah. And the journey is always more, in my opinion, the journey is always more fun than the destination. Sounds dangerous. I like it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Next book that he writes is a killer motivational speaker. I'm sure that's been done before. But anyways, you guys have a fantastic day. I love y'all. Thank you for all the support and everything. Thank you for watching me go on my diatribes today. And once again, just because I gave the advice and you like me does not mean that it is right for you. All right. So bye, Jimmy. Bye, Viking. Bye, Ty. Bye, Richie. Bye, anyone else who might be out there lurking. Thank you for the support, all the love, and the patience while I figure all my life shit out. But yeah, until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another episode of 52 and 52. That's a lot of rhymes. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. You goofball.